Hi, everyone. Welcome to Daily Revelations. Well, we're still in Nehemiah 1. We'll be for a couple more, tomorrow and through the weekend. But today we're looking at prayer, praying, and fasting. And I hope you learned some stuff. I definitely got some good things out of that just made me think about that. But what I wanted to talk about today was the precursor to Nehemiah praying. In verse 4, it says, "When I heard these words, I sat down and wept and mourned for days. And I was fasting and praying before the God in heaven." And as I was thinking about that weeping, that mourning, weeping and mourning is required as part of our human existence. Oftentimes, in some church situations, when people grieve, it's almost looked down on that they don't have enough faith. Or, what's wrong with your personal theology? Aren't you excited? Like, this person died, they went to heaven. Yeah, but I still miss them. We grieve. We grieve because we know that there's something greater that is attainable, and yet we can't embrace it. We can't make it happen. And it's not for this world. And even the things that go wrong in this world that are righted in ways, we have to wait through the process. And grieving is a process, and it's not something you can just skip through. And I think a lot of times we forget that Jesus wept. In Matthew 5:4, it says that blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Mourning is part of our existence. We realize when we mourn that things aren't right. This world is full of sin. People hurt one another. There's death. There's all these tragedies. And yet there's a greater hope. But we mourn because we don't have that hope. But it doesn't mean that it's wrong. And I just wrote a couple notes to myself that, Nehemiah heard the words. We hear news. What do? We stop. He sat down. He was so grief-stricken that he couldn't even move. And how often does that happen to us? When things happen that take us off guard, they paralyze us. Maybe not physically, but mentally. We can't think. And it's okay to say, I need this time to grieve. And then we grieve, and we go through that process of grieving. And it's been documented many times that, we go through these seasons of denial and anger and it comes back, and it doesn't just happen once. But if you've ever lost a loved one and a memory comes back of when you had that experience with that person, it all floods back again, and you have to reprocess that. And it's difficult. And it doesn't mean that your faith is lacking because you do that. The one promise I want to leave you with today, though, is Jesus said this. He says, "These things I've spoken to you." And he talked about all the things he had been telling his disciples. "In me, you have peace." Why? Because this world is going to bring you tribulations. It's going to bring you places where you will grieve. But have courage, for I have overcome the world. And that is our greater hope. We grieve more when we understand that perfection is not here. It is not to be attained in this place. We live in a world of sin, and sin is going to affect us, and we need to grieve through that. And that's what Nehemiah did. He saw the tragedy that was happening. He saw the sinfulness of his nation. He saw all these things. And as he grieved, God stirred his heart. And didn't just stir his heart to grieve more and more and get into this pity party or anything. Grief does a work in us as well. And it allows us to see what we can do to move on from that place and to use that experience to help others and to change the circumstances, like we will find in Nehemiah, that he used that grief to empower him to leadership. So you may be grieving right now and wondering what's going to be the product of this. Trust God. He's got a plan, but don't skip the grieving process. It's important. So thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations. I'll see you again tomorrow, everybody. Bye.